Hey everyone, my name is Nathan Torres, and welcome to Conversations with the World, the show where I have conversations with everyday people.
You feel something, you feel something. It's not about personality matrixels and charts. It's all about the bumps in your heart.
We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world, there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich. We can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful.
I love the art of it. And so like that really to me is like, you know, it's cool. Like I just love the idea of like just immersing myself in the character and just like, you know, letting my mind go.
Do what you're supposed to do, man. Like all I can say is that whatever mountains are in front of you sounds so. I'm trying to think of a non-cliche way to say it. Is that there is a way through what you're going through.
Yeah.
And you will get through to the other side. And I'm saying like all I can say is like you can make it through it, bro. It'll seem like your brain will try and convince you that you can't, but tomorrow will come and you can.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with the World. This is episode number 9. And joining me on the episode today, I've got my friend Willden here. And just a little bit of background on how I met Willden. One day, I was browsing the categories on Discord, and for all of you who don't know what Discord is, it's a cool little app to keep you and your community. If you're a streamer, if you're a YouTuber, or an influencer at that, you know, you can have a place for, you know, your community that follows you all in one chit chat place, you know. And I was in Deanna's Discord, and once I saw a random post on someone that was gonna stream Oscar talks, and you know, I'm a big fan of films, and right away I clicked on it, and I came across this person that I'm bringing to you the attention to today, and this is Willden. So say hello, Willden.
Howdy, y'all. How's it going? And thanks. Yes, I like that. Bring the attention to me. Bring it all to me. Give it all. I want it.
So a little bit more background. So, I mean, I started getting into Twitch not too long ago. I'm thinking of it as a path, you know, because I love video games and I love podcasting. I've been thinking of, you know, moving my platform of podcasting to the streaming world. So a chance for, you know, my Twitch followers to, you know, expand not just on the video game based, and that's why I wanted Willden to come on to the podcast today. You know, it's about, you know, building a community, and when I clicked on your channel, you know, I noticed there was not that many people. There's probably like 3-4 people in there, and so what I wanted to do was like, you know, now that I'm like a small streamer, I think it's smart to build connections with other small streamers, so that way you guys can, you know, simultaneously work together to build up your guys' you know, community. And it's tough. Would you say?
Yeah. It's a rough start. I mean, I would say now is like maybe like it's, you know, it gets to that point where you're sort of, I hate to use appropriate word, end game, but it's like we're getting the end game now as far as like if you want to start like streaming, especially on Twitch, like do it now, like start now. I wouldn't wait like too much longer, because it's gonna get to that point where it's just like you have like nothing at all. You could still, depending on what you're doing, there's still enough like niche content out there or stuff to people gravitate towards too, where you can, you know, like get some traction of some sort. Mm-hmm. And especially there's other like streaming platforms and stuff popping up too, you know?
Yeah, I feel like I kind of started a little bit late and like in my part too, but you know, I feel like I still have some leeway just because, you know, I've got like the podcasting platform, but you're like affiliated. You have like quite a few followers, you know, and you know, they you know, you're affiliated, right?
Yeah, I got affiliated, I don't know, like maybe like a month or so ago, fairly recently. Yeah.
Okay. But like you can actually like get like subscribers and bits donated, right?
Yeah, yes, I can. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you get affiliated, you get subscribers and you get people to donate to you as well. It's basically that's like a stepping stone for you to start getting funds from streaming, and then like the path I'm on now, the next goal is partner. Like once you're a partner, then it's like you're really considered to be a Twitch streamer of sorts.
Yeah. And so talking about streaming, and that day that I joined in on your little rant about the Oscars, that was like the thing that connected us too, because we started talking about films and like what's your idea on such film. Now that the Oscars has passed, I can ask you now, like what were your thoughts on the Oscars? Did you even watch it?
I did watch it. At first I wasn't going to for a while, because it's one of those things where every year it's like, now I don't have cable, it's harder to watch it, so I have to be like, okay, what services out there that I can get like a free subscription for 30 days for just to watch this thing, because I don't really want to pay to watch it anymore.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was fine. I felt like it was one, as far as pace goes, I felt like it moved really quick and really nice. It was almost better not having the host there.
I agree.
I agree. I felt like like there was a performances and stuff that kind of held it back a bit, but besides that, it didn't feel, even though it was the same amount of time, it didn't feel like I was watching it for like 3.5 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
And then like with the categories and stuff, certain people that won like should have won overall. I know people are all upset Green Book won. I'm okay with it. I really like Green Book, but I can understand what people's issues were. There were certain things that were, it was more of things that weren't nominated or were nominated kind of upset me more than anything else. Although I will say the surprise was Olivia Colman winning, because I kept hearing Glenn Close. This is it. She's been nominated a bajillion times. This will finally be it. This is like a career Oscar for her. And then I went to Olivia Colman, which was interesting, and I'm glad, because she's awesome.
And even she said, like, what? Like, why me? Like, Glenn, I'm so sorry, Like, like right, her speech was awesome. Her speech was awesome because it was, like, quirky, and, she brought her, like, she thought of our kids, and, like, oh, you know what? Like, I like that little thing she said about, like, oh, like, if you're not watching, well, this is not happening again, just so you know. Like, I thought that was funny.
Right. And she's one of those, too. Again, she's been around a minute, too. Like, she's been around a lot of, like, especially in the last like 5 or 6 years, a lot of like BBC shows and then more American shows, like Broadchurch and then The Night Manager. And then she started to pop up more and more movies, and it's one of those things is like now people are seeing her in like older movies and they realize who that was before. And they're like, oh, she was in this,
Yeah. I think the highlights for me were like, one, the performance between Lady Gaga and Bradley, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I actually liked that performance. I think that was quite a good performance. But other than that, I think overall my thoughts of the Oscars is that I'm not mad that Green Book won. I'm actually, I think of the Oscars as in, I feel like there's a lot of people that give the Oscars now some flack. So they don't like it. They don't want to watch it anymore. It's shite. What I have to say about that is that honestly, it's just a platform for people to acknowledge films that, that are great, that have been put up to the task of, showing us who we are as human beings. There's been plenty of films that are amazing, and I just think that just having a chance to acknowledge them on a like a big, TV like day, I just appreciate like that in general. Like I'm not like, oh, I want this to win, like at the end of the day, they're all winners because they were all either acknowledged with nominations, they either took a dub home, or thousands and thousands of millions maybe of people saw their film. So that is a win in itself, and maybe one day I'll get my feature film through the Oscars, and I'll go through those amazing little speeches one day.
Yeah, there you go, man. I wish it for if you need like a supporting actor or something, give me a call.
There you go.
And we'll be up there together. No, it's cool. It's like I said, there were certain decisions like the thing that made me most upset this year was how the Mr. Rogers documentary, which I thought was a shoe-in to win.
Yep.
wasn't even nominated.
Yeah,
That
we've talked about that. We talked about that on your stream once. I told you the exact same thing. It was funny because I remember that stream that you did, that you were, I think it was that stream, or you were talking about another stream that you were on, that you started ranting about it, and you were ranting, and I was messaging you, and I was like, he's not even looking at his messages, and I'm over here like complaining about Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and I agreed 100%. And I was just like, I am crushed that this movie did not, not even get nominated, because in my heart it's documentary of the year. I grew up on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and for this film to and I'll even buy it tonight. I'll even buy it on Amazon tonight, just because I feel like watching it. It brought me to tears, and I guess, and like that, like I said, look, the Oscars is a place to acknowledge films, and I don't think that Free Solo is not deserving of it, because I'm a big fan of cinematography and the hard work it takes to go out there and follow a rock climber, a dangerous climber. How is that camera cinematographer like getting along?
And that's one of those things too. Like it will, because like I had heard of it, I think through like Oscar talk and stuff too. And I went, and he said A-list. I went and saw an IMAX, and boy, I'm glad that I did, because seeing that in IMAX that was an experience too.
Yeah, IMAX, seeing everything in IMAX is pretty good. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, man. I'm like near. I'm luckily right now I'm in an area where I'm closer to the theater I was before, so I could kind of just walk there, which is nice in a way. So I like being able to see everything in IMAX when I can.
Yeah. What theaters? What theaters do you normally go to? Like, I mean, you're in the LA area, aren't you?
Yeah. So I used to live in the North Hollywood area, so I went to like the Burbank a lot. But Burbank was go-to, and like AMC. I used to go to Langley a lot too, especially when I had Movie Pass back then, when I had that for a minute. And now I'm near Universal, so I kind of go. That's my main hub.
Okay, all right, very cool.
AMC, yeah.
And you, Willden, you've been a fan of films for like how long? Can you give me like tell me what you think about like films, like, and how much of a passion it is, for you to like.
Oh,
to watch
wow.
them?
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, as long as I can remember, honestly, it was only when I started. I mean, I always enjoyed watching movies, but it's only when I started going to college where I started paying attention more. Where, I guess, kind of high school and the college too. Once DVDs come out, like I'd be the person I would listen to the commentary, every time I got a new DVD or whatever. And then like remember looking at the Lord of the Rings special features and watching those for hours.
Yeah.
And when I was in college, I majored in computers, but like I finished it. Don't remember a lot what I learned, but I went through college helped me get more into. I hosted my own radio show where I did talk about film sometimes, and then I joined a film society. And doing that allowed me to get some film experience without taking a film class.
Nice.
I did take, I think, in community college, a film history course where we watched movies to talk about too, so that helped also. But like when I moved out here, I mean, there was a little bit of intent of trying to do acting. Since then, that's kind of changed, and I'm more like, trying to post myself as a personality type. But I mean, it's big, man. I got my own little collection over here of like my favorite movies. Like I'll keep those out. And I got binders of DVD. Like trying to get rid of all those cases hurt me inside because I'm more of a physical guy. But I'm slowly moving to digital and things of that sort, and I just love that. And more in TV shows more recent as well with streaming.
Yeah. And so, what are some of your favorite films?
Well, if you had to ask me,
like the ones that like, for example, I pose this one to you, like the one film that made me want to make films is Donnie Darko.
Good choice.
It's starring Jake Gyllenhaal. It's a fantastic film that that you obviously have to watch over and over and over again, and yet you still don't understand what the hell is going on. And it was at that moment, once I laid eyes on this Donnie Darko, I wanted to make films that people didn't just put into their DVD players once. I wanted them to be like, wait, I have to watch that one more time. Like that's what like brought the passion out like from film, like in it being that film, it's one of my favorite films of all time. I have more favorite films, obviously. I got like films that top that, but that's like one that really connects with me.
No, I feel it. No, I have two. It's weird. So I have a favorite trilogy, and then I have two films that are tied for my number one. And
is the trilogy the Lord of the Rings?
No, it's not. You would think, because just for y'all who are watching or listening at home, I am more on the like comic booky superhero side of things as well, but I'm pretty average or whatever, but like I like all kinds of film. But no, one of them that's tied for my number one is, and it kind of relates to what you were talking about before as far as like getting me more interested in films, is Reservoir Dogs.
Okay. Tarantino.
Which is Quentin Tarantino's first film he ever did, and it's kind of through that, I guess you could say he's my favorite director as well.
Okay.
Just because of that, of the whole movie is based a lot on dialogue, because the whole thing is basically filmed on one set for the most part, with a couple like prior flashback sequences, but even the way it ends, it's all based on you like hearing what happens, not necessarily seeing what happens. So you're kind of left up to yourself as like, okay, of how they end. It's like they get away or did not, and then people had theories about that, and I mean, open up a whole universe and stuff like that. But the simplicity of like keeping your attention with just a bunch of people in the space, like even movies like that, even ones that are like not as good as that, always like grab your attention. That got me big into like how films were made and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then I guess my other favorite movie would be Fight Club.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like the same thing. It's kind of what you're talking about before. So that requires you to at least watch it again. You have to watch that like a couple times, because I've seen the first time and then it pulls off a twist that's now been kind of repeated several times. But now it requires you to watch it again from a whole new perspective. And then about my favorite trilogy. Now, you probably won't see this coming because I'm a bit of a nerd geek, but
wait, can I guess?
Yeah, go ahead.
Jurassic Park? Back to the Future?
Nope.
Okay. After that, sit. Give it to me.
Okay. So the reason it's not either of those, by the way, would be, for example, like Jurassic Park. I really like the first one. Other two are okay. Like Back to the Future, like 3 is okay. Actually, it's only within the last, I'd say, like 3 years is Richard Linklater's Before trilogy.
Oh yeah, okay. I remember you telling me about this. Isn't this with Ethan? No.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Ethan Hawke?
Yeah, it's Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy. I think that's her name, the French actress.
Yeah.
Who I later realized was in Age of Ultron. She's in that flashback sequence. She's like the teacher that teaches Black Widow.
Okay.
And that flashback sequence, I'm wondering, like, if they did do like that prequel Black Widow movie, which I think they're doing, I'm like, it'd be cool to bring her back. But and it's again, it's filmmaking too. Again, I don't know, I guess it's which is weird because I'm terrible at memorizing dialogue. But it's a whole movie. It's just for each one is like a 2-hour movie. We're just sitting there and it's just people walking and talking. That's it.
Yeah.
Now that description in general might sound the most boring thing you ever heard in your life, but they talk about like just, it's not only them like kind of falling for each other and falling in love, but it's them just talking about life and politics and religion and romance. And it's just all aspects of life. And each one of these movies, it's 10 years apart, from each other. So time moves on and then their opinions might change from what they were before and stuff like that. So it's just a summation of life. And also, too, I'm a big, I'm really into traveling. I want to travel a lot. So that's also, like, a special little thing that appeals to me, too, is seeing them travel all these places.
So Ethan Hawke did that? He did, like all 3 of them, right?
Yeah, they both, all 3 of them, Linklater, Julie Delpy, Ethan Hawke, all did all of them together.
That blows my mind.
I think they even worked on the script for at least, like, the last one.
That blows my mind that, like, and how long, like, did it take for those 3 movies, like, in a year span?
To watch them, you mean? Or
no, to like make, like, how, like, did they make them like a year apart, or like Did it take a while?
No, I mean, it literally, like, the story-wise, it takes place 10 years apart, and they were released, like, theatrically. No, not 10 years apart, 9 years apart. They were released theatrically 9 years apart. So they literally waited, like, every 9 years to make it,
Okay. That was my question, because, you know,
Yeah.
isn't Ethan Hawke also in Beautiful Boy? Or am I
Beautiful Boy. I know he was in Boyhood.
No, Boyhood. That's what I meant.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why Beautiful Boy. Boyhood. Yeah, and
Yeah.
Boyhood took a long time to make too, because it also took like a long time span as well, I think.
Right, they would film parts of it like over a period of like a decade or something like that.
That's crazy.
That was also by Richard Linklater too.
So is it safe to say that Ethan Hawke could be a vampire?
Because he hasn't aged in like 20 years.
How long has he been in the film industry? Someone get a record of what that guy's been up to. Pull up his IMDb page.
He was actually, what's funny, we started talking about him too, because he was a person that I heard after the Oscars got announced. It was Toni Collette and him were the two names I heard that some people were upset didn't get nominated as well for First Reform, which is a movie I saw. Has interesting. But he was good at it, you know, and I don't necessarily agree with his opinions on superheroes, because he said some things on superhero movies I don't fully agree with, but hearing him talk about like the way he sees things and stuff like that, it's like he seems like a cool guy to hang out with too, you know?
Yeah, that's Ethan Hawke for you.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's been around for a while. He was in, what was the one Robin Williams who was a teacher? Was it Dead Poet Society?
Yeah.
I think he was in that one. That was like one of the first ones he did, yeah.
Dead Poet Society is good. I like that film.
Yeah.
It's a good one. So let me ask you, what brought you to Twitch, and how is that going for you right now? Like do you think that, you know, eventually, like, because obviously, like, it's make or break with Twitch, and you either have it or you don't, and it's a tough crowd out there. You don't want to be like, you know, like streaming for like what, the next 3 years, and it's just you're not making any progress, right? So what are your plans, and like how are you motivating yourself to, you know, like come up with bits, you know, stream nights, like things like that? Like how's everything going?
Oh man, that's a loaded question.
It's because Willden, it's because it's like sometimes they like obviously I see your stream sometimes, and there was this one stream where you went on a rant, and I remember you were just going off on like something about like, oh, like about a party with like you know, remember about like the party with Pokimane and all that, and like I think you were just like highlighting over like, you know, what it's like for the streamers that are like balling right now, you know, and how like you'll eventually get there, you know.
Oh yeah, no, it's the thing, right? Look, I was old enough to where if I really wanted to, I could have hopped on the YouTube train while it was, you know, while it was hot, and I didn't. Part of me, I think, it's because I wasn't ready, but I was kind of lazy too, and I still don't know how it saved my life. I've tried doing it, but I'm terrible. So when this came around, I started like seeing it hit. I started thinking about a little bit. I noticed that like it was built into like the PS4 as like one of the services, and then it just kind of things like it just started ball rolling. And then I was watching these people do it, and I was like, well, I'm trying to like build myself as a personality type anyway, and I like the live aspect of it. And it's a matter of fact of like, I mean, I could be by myself just playing a game, or I could do it with people watching. It doesn't really change my personal experience with what I'm doing, but like, you know, might as well give it a shot. And then when you have people coming in and talk with you and stuff, it just makes it like a full experience. As far as like keeping me going and stuff, part of it too is where I'm at, you know, like we're in the LA area. So it's, there's a lot of hot like streamers here. It's a big central hub. It would have been a lot harder for me to do. Like, I'm from Maryland, so I didn't feel the motivation to do as much there because there was just not a lot there. and it's opportunity. It's like seeing people. I go to a lot of conventions. I see a lot of them conventions. You know, and you see people, they make decent amount of money, they get sponsors, so they get a lot of free stuff they don't have to pay for. And, and it's like these kids, it's like, when I went to college, I was like, shoot, I wish this was a thing when I went to college, but Twitch wasn't really a thing yet. It was what was it? Justin TV or whatever it was called before, but I didn't even know about it. It wasn't a thing. And it's like all these college kids or whatever coming in and making $1 bajillion doing it. And I was like, man, you guys have no idea how lucky you got it. And it's like, well, if these kids can do it, if these people who aren't super savvy can have a decent PC setup and then stream, then I can do it too. And it's mostly too, it allows me to be myself. If eventually I want to be able to go travel places, IRL stuff and game, I'm a variety types, I go all over the place. But most of it, honestly, what it comes down to is that it just feels right when I'm doing it. I feel like I'm doing something with my life. I feel like I'm maybe in a weird way contributing something. I'm not sure what that is, but it just feels right in here, really. I wouldn't be doing it. They say not do it just for the money. Of course, there's always going to be money involved. If it becomes successful at it, then that's good. That's the goal. And then, I would like to have that goal too. But I'm just doing it because it feels right. I wouldn't be doing it if I wasn't enjoying it. It's like, why take the time to do it? The same thing with games. I'm not going to stream a game like Apex or Fortnite because it's popular, because it's not really my kind of game. I'm going to still play what I want to play, which I would have done whether I was streaming or not. Mm-hmm. And then I guess the IRL aspect of it allows me to talk more my inner thoughts that I would usually keep to myself. It helps me open up a lot more, especially in other settings where there's a bunch of people. So it's helping me grow as well as a person.
I dig it, and I see it too. I pop my head into those IRL streams that you do, and yes, you do you're speaking your mind, and it's a unique mind because obviously I see that you do things your way, and it's not like any other way where you're following the popular niche. You're doing your own thing, and that's
right because
that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. No, that's why I come out and say it's my one go-to response to everything. It's if you don't enjoy doing it, or you don't do it away, or do it that's something different enough, then it's what's the point then? Why even bother?
Yeah. I feel it. That's how I feel about that's how I feel about podcasting. I enjoy having conversations with people. I enjoy setting up the microphones and even this whole setup. This setup that I have at the moment right now with talking to you, it's a brand new setup that I'm rolling with. I hardly set my setup like this, and I'm gonna stick with it because I got to continue with my work and right now I'm on a roll because last week I had episode 8, I believe, of Conversations with the World, and you're in episode 9. So I had recently just put my 2 weeks in. This Friday was my last day at my old job, so I will be having a little bit more free time. Yes. And
good for you, man.
And I'm stoked and I'm happy, and I feel like I got a lot of weight off of my shoulders because now I have school still. I'm gonna focus and pin my head down to school because I want to get it done, and this
right.
job has kind of been pulling me back from it because of time availability. And now I have time to get my podcast stuff up and rolling. Now I have time, especially with my new job too. They're really flexible, and I had my first day yesterday for my new job, and it was a blast. I work at a community center, and we took 14 kids to a STEAM convention, so they were learning. Bill Nye the Science Guy was there, and I was a little upset.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was a little upset because it's me and someone else, and we're in charge of these 14 kids. They're just these youngsters, and we're at this cool science STEAM fair, and there's so much to see, and we're just trying to take care of them. And obviously, like, there's show times for Bill Nye. Bill Nye's not going to just be walking around giving his knowledge to everybody. You get knowledge. No, you sit down. You don't get no knowledge. But it would have been cool to see him, but it was fun. I was actually surprised. I didn't know I was going on a field trip, for my first day, but it was easy. There was no complaints, and yeah.
I mean, good for you, man. I mean, like, you're contributing to something. You're doing something that's really cool. Like helping the kids out and stuff. Like I'm in, like, my, like, day job is, like, I'm writing tourism right now, so I can't say my job is as,
is
like,
that what you're doing
as yours.
Is that what you're doing? Like, you're giving people tours of, like, the LA area?
No. I work on Hollywood Boulevard.
I see.
I work at a place on there where a lot of tourists come in. I thought about that. I thought about once or twice. I think I applied once to do, like, the Warner Brothers tour guide or something. I thought about doing that a little bit more, just, like, to make some extra dough.
I've been there before. I've been on Hollywood Boulevard before. I know exactly.
Yeah, it's I mean, there's parts of the job that are good. It has some good perks to it. But then, people sometimes, or whatever. But
yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's not just that. It's I don't want to get into it too much, but it's experience. I mean, I did construction for 3 years before that, and that was another kind of experience. It's not something I wanted to do, but it had good benefits. Like, the pay was a lot better and stuff like that. But after a while, I was like, I gotta go.
What would you say would be your, like, probably the worst working experience, that, you can say, like, okay, I've done this before and I definitely don't want to do it ever again, And I'm glad I got that over with. I'm glad I'm out of this situation, because I could kind of say that for serving for me, but I'm not going to say that I didn't learn anything from serving. I think in general, I think everyone in their life should be a server for at least once, because it's an experience that, and trust me, serving is not easy. It's not the best job in the world. But if you have, like, a good gig, like I had a good gig. I was working at, like, a PF Chang's, so, like, the bistro there is really nice, and being a server there is really good. But it's like I took away something really good from it, that it takes a lot of hard work, and you have to suck it up sometimes to be patient with obviously customers. But I learned so much from that job, but obviously it's not for me, because I can't deal with like the kitchen. It's pretty chaos. It's chaos. But there are jobs that you have to do in this world, and it takes some time to go through ups and downs at these jobs for you to realize that this isn't what I want to do with my life. I want to do something better.
Yeah, I mean, you said it right. Like, I mean, I've been trying to avoid to do the whole server thing, but I think hopefully between doing construction and this tourism now, it's like it's an amalgamation of the two. It's got me like the similar knowledge, because as far as like worse things, I mean, like I said, I never really wanted to do construction, and it was fine. And I had various experiences. I mean, I'm talking about like working on places already built, or working on places that were being built, working in somebody's apartment, working in like a 26-story building, working with like, small people, people that are like really super rich, or working with giant, well-known companies and seeing how things work. So I did it for 3 years, and it was enough. And I never want to do it again if I don't have to. I don't think I want to, but I learned a lot in terms of like, how certain like I've seen business decisions made where, there's multi-million dollars on the line on certain decisions. And then like, I see certain things being made, and I'm like, I don't know if that was the best call to make, but okay, or like the last big gig I had before I left was, I'm not going to say which one, but there was a casino that was recently built in the last couple of years. And I worked there for a year in charge of like handling material. Now, when you start construction, you start, you start at the bottom, right? So like you would be like in charge of the material to begin with. You'd be like getting rid of trash, cleaning up, giving your fellow comrades whatever materials they need. And then you move up. Then you're like, okay, now you're doing electric work. You don't have to worry about doing it anymore. Well, it kind of switched for me because this job was so big that these kids starting out were just like, it was too big of a job to start out at. So they needed somebody with more experience. So I ended up going backwards kind of to be in charge of all the material for one specific area. And through that, it's just like, it gave me experience working in the big groups because I was working, like there was like 20 to 30 guys. I had to make sure they had all the material. I said, it was like, this one was like 26 stories. So most of the time there was an elevator, but sometimes there wasn't. You had to carry like stuff up the steps. So like I learned like having to like physically carry stuff. I learned like the security would change like every day. The rules were different. One day be this, one day be that. So like quick adjustments, trying to keep organized in terms of like seeing the material that comes in, count it, and then figure out where to put it, and then making lists, finding out who needs what, and then getting to them within a reasonable time. And then that job in particular too, I did have one or two guys that were sort of under me that helped me out. But it was a lot. And like, I did that for almost a year, and I would have to like drive around and stuff like that. So it was a lot to handle at one point every given day. And, and that was a day where it's like, it was 8 hours a day, 5 to sometimes 7 days a week. And then I did smaller stuff where it's like, I had to be careful of like, be very delicate around certain things or be a certain rule of how things work and things like that. So as much as like I never want to do construction again, I learned like a lot of weird but really helpful stuff all like at once. It just kind of whoosh bum rushes
I bet you can say that now that when you are at home, like, and you have any like house issues or anything, you can take care of that yourself, right?
Yeah, I could. I mean, legally, I don't know if I should, but I mean, technically I could, yeah,
Just a little around the house stuff,
Yeah, no. And another thing I learned too, though, why I never had interest in it to begin with, but I've learned, it's like once you're in that most part, it's hard to drop construction. You have to completely drop it and go. Otherwise, like after a certain point, you have to take schooling for it too.
Is that what you did? You took schooling for that?
No, I mean, to avoid that. There's two routes you can go. One route where it's like every 6 months you get a pay raise and a rank higher. But there's like 2 required classes you have to take after like you get to 2 certain ranks. But there's another one that's like kind of like a college where you can like just joined. You have to apply just like in college to get into it. And then your pay raise goes like skyrocketing high. And you're in school for like 4 or 5 years. Now it like basically speeds up the other process by 2 or 3. But you have like homework and you have to come in the next day and still do all the construction. There's no exceptions, just additional work.
Yeah.
So I knew I never want to stick construction, otherwise I would have done it, and my old man did it too. That's why I got into it in the first place. But like, it breaks you, man. Like I've seen people have done it. Like that were my big bosses, and they were just like physically worn out and stuff like that. And I didn't want to stick with that, because even though you're making a lot of money, it's like, it's not going to help you if you're like half torn apart by the end of it.
Yeah. It's honestly, it's really honorable work in my opinion. I can say that because my grandfather, that guy's still working. He has not retired. He is still like, he's built so many bakeries. My first job ever was with him to build a bakery in a city that actually I just came from not so long ago, with the one that I was telling you I was in. And that was awesome because we started off with just a building, and I think it was a building that used to be for like wholesale, maybe not wholesale, like I don't know, like just a little shop, and we ended up putting a whole bakery in there, stainless steel, everything. It was quite the gift. And I mean, obviously it's hard work in construction. You're carrying things, you're messing with electricity, and it's tough work, and it's honorable work because you're building something. Like we've come so far as human beings to from like the caveman days, to this. So it's like if you have the tools and the handiwork to, you know, build something beautiful, it's honorable work. And it is tough. And I don't know, like my grandpa, he's a tough son of a gun. And like I don't know how he's still doing it, you know? Like I'm like, can you sit down? Can you not do anything anymore? Like, you've been working your ass off, and he's still doing jobs every single day. It's fantastic, you know? And it takes a lot to do construction. So I give you that.
Yeah, well, it's just like, it's like you said, it's like, I feel like if people don't, like, either you do serving ones or construction or something like that, where you have to like really put a lot of effort into it. And I feel like maybe, you know, and I don't know, for better or worse, a lot of people are becoming successful, especially online, and these influencers, it's like, they may have like a regular day job like anybody else, but, you know, they were like still in college too. It's, you know, and it was, not saying they didn't work hard to get it, but, you know, something that's like physically demanding or something like that, you know?
Yeah. Those physically demanding jobs are take a toll on you a lot. Yeah, they definitely do. Like, not too much, but Amazon, I do Amazon Flex now. That's something cool. If you should sign up for that. If you have a card that's willing, you know, it's a good little side cash thing that I've been like loving for so much. Like, I tell everybody to just sign up for it. I even have like a couple of friends signing up. It's like you deliver for Amazon with your own car. I do feel like a bozo though, because I did my taxes recently and I never really like took kept track of like the mileage, and that would have been like, you know, docked with my taxes. So like I feel like a bozo that I didn't really keep track of that. But I mean, you live and you learn, you know, like you go through things, and I mean, no one's really guiding me on how to do my taxes, so I kind of do it on like through myself, you know. So it's self-learning, and you know, you go through your ups and downs with that kind of stuff. So
right,
yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's weird, yeah, because like with taxes and stuff, like my old man always had somebody to do it, and just now starting to do it on your own and trying to figure all that out. And Twitch has a thing with taxes too. I mean, I haven't done enough for this taxes to like for Twitch to have any sort of effect, but maybe like next year, and then people are waiting for the paperwork, and then this and this and that and all this hoopla.
Yeah, I heard about that. Like I was listening to one of the streamers that I watch, and she was saying like, oh, you guys think it's all fun and games that I'm making all this money and donations and bits and all that, but this stuff has to get taxed, you know. Like, and I had no clue. I'm like, oh shoot, like that stuff's, you know, in effect.
Yeah, and it's a business, and then you have merch and all that stuff, you know.
Exactly. You thinking about, you know, guiding yourself through that, like maybe like some merch, like logo, maybe, you know, get some stuff popping through your Twitch?
Yeah, it's something I'm considering once, like right now I have the goal of, well, of course, like eventually getting partnership would be nice. Right now I have the goal of like trying to get my average viewers up. So like today was exception day because I just had like a big host. I streamed like for an hour, but I had like a huge host. Not like a huge one, but like, you know, that had decent people from like a group I'm a part of, which was nice.
That's always
good. I'm trying to get like 20 average viewers by TwitchCon. That's like a goal that I'm trying to have, like a small goal. And eventually, yeah, so like merch and stuff like that, because I do want to build myself more as a brand. I might put a little bit more character. I'm thinking of some stuff too, as far as like branding myself as a character a little bit. And I am working with a smaller organization now that's associated with like kind of esports and stuff like that. So I'm going to be hopefully doing more stuff with them in the future as far as like other logos and things of that sort. They're just kind of waiting on me for that PC to come in to kind of go a little further with that.
So you ordered your PC already?
It's ordered. I just need the monitor, a keyboard, which I'll probably order today. Apparently, I might need a new headset too, maybe, from what I'm being told.
That's good. Seems like you're gonna get everything up and running pretty soon.
Yeah.
So I mean, like obviously, we the podcast are gonna want to see the progress. So you know, you get to it, Willden. You get to it. You start streaming with your new PC once you get it in, and obviously you add your little mods to it and whatnot. But like,
yeah, for sure, man.
What would you say like are some goals you're setting for yourself? Going through for the rest of the year with Twitch.
Ooh, it's weird because I did actually a stream where I wrote down like physically wrote on paper goals that I had for the year, and I don't know what I did with it. I probably threw a stupid thing out, but I did stream about that. I was like, oh, what my goals want to be, where I want to go. So I guess by the end of the year, I want to be. I mean, being partnered would be nice, but at least be somewhat known in a Twitch community, one for better or worse, one way or the other, to where it's like, I'm a little bit more recognizable by certain people, and it's more of like streamers that are popular now will want to like collaborate or at least meet up to do something. So a lot of collaborative work. I want to, like I said, build up my viewer count. Eventually, like I'm with this PC, the main thing I want to do for the longest time is like do like a subathon. So like a 12-hour stream to try to get more subs and viewers. PC allowed me to do like giveaways, like movie nights, stuff like that. That's a little harder to do on this laptop. Allow me to do more with my stream and basically do the stream I've always wanted, which is talking like this, playing a game, switching between the two, and allow me to stream longer. Because the one thing that's holding me back too is all my streams are not, the average streams like 5 to 6 to 7 hours now for you to kind of grind to get anywhere. So I can only stream like at most maybe 2.5 hours on this before I like get winded. And then like there I can maybe stream like 5 or 6, but I'm kind of limited to what I have.
Exactly.
So hopefully having this PC is going to have like a faster return in the long run is what I'm hoping. Hoping to get sponsored for different stuff as well. And yeah, like getting partner would be a nice end goal to have. And, working with other streamers, just being taken more seriously, I guess, too. I know they're signing up for season 2 of that streamer camp thing. So I sent my application for that too.
Nice.
So, we'll see.
All right. What advice would you give to maybe someone who isn't, a foot in the pond yet in the streaming world, or maybe it has gone as far as you and, wants to turn back? What advice would you give to them for them to, continue their Twitch journey and wanting to become affiliated or, or more?
Oh shoot, where can I go? There's a few things I could say. Well, one, most importantly, again, as I mentioned before, make sure your heart's into it. If you don't enjoy doing it and it does feel like a grind to just try to get money, then I would just stop. I'd find some other way or find something else that makes you happy. You don't want to it can take a lot of time for this to work. So you have to put a lot of time into it. As I recently learned too, you got to put as much time into it as you can, even when you're not streaming. It's just as important, which I'm slack on a bit, but I'm trying to do more, like post more on the socials, and Discord is important too, as far as keeping a community. That's what kind of keeps you alive too, is having the community, not just talking to you, but talking with each other. That's like another goal I have for myself this year. As far as like games go, always people have told me to like stream like smaller games, not necessarily the big ones, and not only that, but stream what you want to stream as far as your content. Stream what games you want to stream whatever, watch whatever movies you want to stream, but feel like the community is involved. Talk with them, and find out what's like different from you than everybody else. Try to do something a little bit different. It's kind of harder now, and it's kind of a weird, kind of dumb thing to say, but it's kind of true. It's like, find that thing that draws people's attention to you. Like also too, like you said, it drew you in absolutely too, is not only posting in as many places that you can that you're live, but the title's important also.
Yeah.
I don't always post the best titles of the stream, but the title got you jumping on board in my stream. So definitely make sure you have a title that either describes what you're doing or something that's really goofy and dumb that catches people's attention, especially really small. Yeah.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Willden. Can you give the listeners, some information on where to find you on your socials?
Oh, sure. Well, first off, thank you for having me. This has been great.
Yeah, I know. I know we've been trying. I know we've been trying to get this going, and I got a little pushed back because I had the flu not too long ago, and it pushed my schedule back. But like I said, last week I got episode 8 out of the way. You're episode 9, and I'm on a roll here.
That's awesome, man.
It's a pleasure to have
good.
You. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. If you want to follow, my Twitch channel is Willden1990. So it's WILLD in lowercase 1990. I eventually get changed to Willden, but I don't know if that'll ever happen. And that's also my Instagram is Willden1990, exact same thing. I usually post on there right as I'm going live for the most part. And then Twitter is just Willden, capital WILLDEN, like Highlander. It can only be one. I'm the Willden on Twitter. So, and I post on there too, usually when I go live.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, it was a pleasure talking to you, Willden, and hopefully the listeners out there found an interest in this conversation. And I got to say, this is not going to be the last time that you're on the show. We will definitely have you on. I would love to have you on again. We got to see this progression that you're fighting for, that you're trying to build your Twitch channel up. So
look forward to it, man.
I can't wait to have you on again. So thank you, Willden. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, same, but I can't wait to be back on.
Awesome.